Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Otumba Adams Show. My name remains Adam Solofimolajide, and you are welcome specially. This is episode 175, and it goes to say that, like we have done, or this would be the 75th episode for this year. It's a pleasure to have you guys again. Hope you're doing well. Hope life is treating you fairly. I hope your business is booming and the economic situation of the world is not affecting you. All right, so on today's episode, we would be looking at how to write webinar scripts that drive sales, how to write webinar scripts that drive sales. Now, before I go into that, if this is your first time of being a part of the show and you're probably wondering what this whole thing is about, we talk about business, entrepreneurship, we talk about marketing, we'll talk about leadership, we talk about everything basically that could actually help your business to thrive. And on today's episode, we are looking at another topic that would be of interest. Now, one of my prayers today is that, like, as I'm creating this broadcast, that electricity will not go off. We know how Nigeria can be, right? It's rained earlier and they just brought back the light. Anyway, so going into my notes, I have to like get my notes out because I have a lot that I would love to teach you guys today, but I would have to do everything within a period of a minute. Within a period of 15 minutes rather. All right. So let's dive into what I have for today. In creating your webinar, right, one of the things that like you have to realize, because your webinar basically is for you to drive sales. You're trying to like make more money for the business you're doing. Before you create the script, the first thing you need to that has to come to the back of your mind is that, like, who are those that you're trying to serve? Who are your targeted audience that you're trying to sell something to? All right. And what is their goal? What do they want? What is their pain point? What are they struggling with? I know that like I have done something that has to do with your potential client when it comes to the avatar, right? If you don't know what that is, just go through my videos and you would see where I spoke about how to create a customer avatar, right? You need to know who you're trying to serve, because when you do, then it would then help you to be able to like draft the script for your webinar. All right. So know your targeted audience, know what their goals are, know what their struggles are, and how you can actually help them with it. Okay. So now, when you're done with that, the first thing in writing your script would be your introduction. All right. Your introduction is going to be the very first thing that I need to change this. Sorry, just a second. Yeah, voila. Okay, this is better. All right. So the very first thing that like you need is your introduction. And when we talk about introduction, you need to introduce the topic to them, right? What they would be getting from that webinar, because as much as you're trying to sell to them, they also have to like take something away at the end of the day. So that is why you're actually creating the webinar. So you have your webinar topic and then also talk about what they will be getting at the end of the day. And then also part of your introduction has to do with your own story, who you are as a person, what makes you the right person to be able to sell to them. All right. You have to talk a little bit about yourself, what you've gone through, your own, literally your own success story, basically, that makes you an authority in that field. Also, if you have people that have actually worked with you in the past, you could also share details about their own success story, because it is one thing for you to say that, like, okay, this thing works for me. If you also like reiterate with the fact that like it also works with somebody else, then people would find you more believable. All right. They'll see you as an authority, and then they would also find you believable. Also, what else do I have in my notes? And yes, so before they leave, also at the beginning, at the introductory part, you have to talk about the incentive that you hope to give to them, something that like would make them stay. All right. There has to be a big fish. Like, okay, for example, you probably tell them that like before the end of this webinar, there's something that like you're going to get. Just stick around, don't leave, right? Something that like would actually make them stay till the end of the webinar, all right? Like literally like a hook, okay? So that's the first part. Then moving on to the second part of it, we will be talking about the body of your webinar. The body of your webinar. The body of the webinar basically is the main points that like you want to pass across, because you are trying to like well, not really teach, you're trying to sell to them, but you also want them to gain something before they leave that webinar. All right. So you have to like talk about the three things that like would that you said we were going to tell them from the very beginning. Okay, so how do you go about each point? Now, the first part is like one, you state the secret, right? There's always a secret that you are meant to share, or something like they do not know that you know. All right, and then like you talk about the transition, how that particular thing, how you were able to transition, right, or how you're able to move from point A to point B using the same secret that you're trying to share with them. It is very, very important for you to be able to like talk about this thing, because it's not enough for you to just give a point. You also have to tell them like, okay, how did this thing work for you? Where were you at the beginning? And then how did you transition to where you want them to get to? Now, that's the first part. Then the second part is about talking about other people's results, also how you helped other people to do the same thing. All right, you took them from point A using that particular secret to point B, and then when they got to that level, their lives, or something transition, or something transformed, rather, that's what I'm trying to look for, something transformed in their lives, and they were able to get to that particular point. And then you move on to answering objections, because definitely for that point that like you raised, people would always have objections, rather, that would not want them to take action or to not believe what you're actually saying. So you have to tackle every objection that they might have for that point. Then restate your belief, or restate the new belief, which is the secret you're trying to share with them. I wrote here like restate new belief as an undeniable truth. This means that like the secret you're trying to share with them, right? You've been able to like break every limiting belief that they have, and then you are now saying that like, okay, this particular thing I'm bringing to you is the new gospel, is the new truth, is the new secret that you need to guard with your life. All right, so when you do that, you do it for the other points that like you're trying to like raise within the webinar also, meaning that like you start from what the secret is. You talk about your transition, how you move from point A to point B. You talk about how it has been able to like help somebody else. If you have something, or if you have someone that like, you've worked with, you state how it worked with that person, and then you answer the objections, and then you reinstate or restate new belief as an undeniable truth, the secret that you just shared with them. Tell them like, hey, this is the fundamental truth that you need to abide by. And then when you're done, rather, I said turned, when you're done with the body, the next part that you need to move to is the pitch. You're trying to like sell to them. The reason why you brought them is to actually sell to them eventually. Well, it's about to start reading. I hope the light doesn't go off. Okay, so the number 3 part of my list, sorry, just a moment. Okay, now you tell them what they're going to get if they should buy the product that you're trying to sell, whether it's a course, whether it's a coaching session, whether it's what's the word, a paid platform. All right, tell them what they're going to get at the end of the day. And then when you're trying to tell them what they're going to get, right, you have to show them the deliverables, what step by step, what you're going to give them from this point to this point. Now, when you move from point B to C, this is what you're going to get. When you move from point C to D, this is what you're going to get. And then what they would benefit from it on the long run. All right. So that's the whole idea about trying to like pitch to them. And then also you have to show them like, this is the cost that you are going to incur if you are, if you do not do this thing, right? If you do not buy this course. And then also show them the benefit that like, okay, once you're able to buy this course, you are going to have ease, and then you're going to have speed. All right. And also you would not spend that thing that like you're probably like spending before now. Okay. Now, once you're done with that, the next thing you're now going to do is you have to accumulate all the deliverables and then put a price tag to them. All right. Once you put it, let's say for point A, they're going to have this deliverable, and then you say, okay, this is the worth on a very good day if you're going to have it. Point B, you're going to learn this. This is the worth on a very good day. Point C, I am going to add you to a private group. This is the Wealth on a Very Good Day. Point D, I am going to have a live session with you every week. This is the price of everything. Now, by the time you now state all the price of everything, right, it should be obvious that, like, wow, this thing is worth a lot. However, this is where you will now tell them that, like, you are bringing down the price from what it is to what you are just trying to, like, give to them at that point in time, which would actually convince them that, like, they are getting value much more than what they are paying for. And people actually love to cheat other people. Like, literally, like, when you want to buy something and then you know that, like, this bargain is too good to be true, before you know it, you are dipping your hands into your pocket and you're trying to buy that thing. That is the idea about stacking the deliverables that you're trying to, like, or that they would get from that particular thing that you're trying to sell to them. All right. So once you're done with that, the last part would then be the question and answer segment. I don't know why this is not coming up. Okay, yeah. The question and answer segment. If they have any questions, if you have any objectives, you answer their questions and then you pitch to them. Now, while pitching to them, right, for the number 4 part, make sure that, like, you make it look as if it's for a limited period of time. You don't just make it sound like this price is going to be at this price forever, right? Make them realize that, like, your price is going to go up any moment from now, and they need to take action immediately. And when you do all these, I can assure you that, like, you have had, or you would have gotten a great webinar script that you would use to pitch to your audience, and then you would make sales on the long run. And this brings us to the end of today's episode. If you're watching me right now, please make sure to like and subscribe and share this video with someone that means the world to you. It's raining right now, and I have to get going before NEPA takes the light and then everywhere goes dark. All right, my name remains Adams Oluwafemi Olajide, and as I always say, be the best version God has created you to be. And for me, I will see you again this coming weekend. Have a great week. Bye-bye.